Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. It's time to do another movie review. Yes, we're going to review the movie Dreamkatcher. No, not the Stephen King one with the aliens. No, this is a different Dreamkatcher because they spell it with a K, not a C. Now, Dreamkatcher is a 2020 supernatural horror film that was directed by Carrie Harris, written by Carrie Harris and Daniel V. Shaye. Now, this movie stars Radha Mitchell, Henry Thomas, Philae Witka hit song. I hope I pronounced his name again. You might remember him from the Banana Splits movie that came out last year. And Scream Cream horror legend Lin Shaye. Now, in this movie, in order to stop his bad dreams, a young boy steals a dream catcher from a mysterious neighbor, forcing his family to rescue him from a nightmarish entity. Oh boy, here we go again. Now, let's see. Tell me, have you seen this plot before? Bad things happen in a secluded house. They die. New tenants now live in the same house. There's no cell phone reception. Kid befriends a ghost who believes it's good, but it's actually a bad ghost. Local neighbor really knows what's going on, what's happening. Ghost attacks parents, crazy shit ensues, and kid has to save his parents from the bad ghost. Yeah, that's basically what we have here in Dreamkatcher. Now, after a very boring and uneventful opening, we're introduced to Gail and Luke and his son Josh. Now, it does take a while before we learn the family dramatic that Gail and Luke are a couple, and that Josh's mother, Becky, drowned in an accident, but Josh hasn't gotten over it yet. Yes, that's basically what we have at the beginning of the movie. It takes a while before we're actually introduced to the players. Now, we also find out that Gail is a child psychologist who is treating Josh, who's having dreams about his mother. Now, for some reason, which is never explained in the movie, they decided to bring Josh to the same house and area where his mother, Becky, died, believing that this will help Josh. That's some real good psychology right there, Gail. Now, while Luke has to go back into the city, Gail and Josh encounter a strange woman named Ruth, who talks about catching spirits and dream catchers. Yeah, they were hiking, trying to get some bonding time, and they run into Ruth, played by Lin Shaye. Now, Josh decides to steal one, believing it will help him with his dreams about his mother, and that's when the real shit starts to happen. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Honey, gee, didn't they do this in the lodge? Yeah, they did. Now, one of the many problems I have with this one is that it's the setup, because it's so cliched and predictable. I mean, nothing new about this. Yes, the outdoor scenes look beautiful and gorgeous, and you can see that the filmmakers did a good job on how well this film looks. We have some nice overhead shots when the family is driving up the road, the nice looking lawns, the lovely house. Yes, almost similar to what the lodge looked like as well. Yes, they did a very good job at how the film looks, and cinematography looks well as good too, but it seems like that's the only good thing they did in this movie. Now, however, there's nothing exciting, frightening, or scary happens in this movie at all. First of all, the script that director Carrie Harris and his partner Dan V. Shaye is written is dull and boring. I mean, you almost fall asleep trying to watch this movie. One of the problems is it takes a while for the audience to realize just who Gail really is, other than just the new girlfriend cliche. They don't really put any hints or anything. We don't have some type of backstory as far as who Gail really is, and I fault that on the writers. I fault that on Carrie and Dan. It takes a while for we realize that Gail is a child psychologist. There's nothing back of how they meet. Not saying they really need a backstory on Luke and Gail. All we know is that we see Gail, we see Luke, we see Gail, we see Luke. We know that they're a couple. We see Josh. Josh is Luke's son. And he treats Gail like shit, but we really don't know any other family dramatic until later on. We learn that Gail is a child psychologist. And I thought that was a very poor way in attempting to put in Gail's character other than the new girlfriend cliche. And that's mainly because the story doesn't provide the audience character development other than Josh being a brat at times with Gail. And I mean, he treats her like shit at times. There are moments when he actually does seem to bond with Gail, but it only seems fleeting moments. Now, another problem with the film is the backstory and its mythology. We get a quick and short story from Ruth regarding dream catchers, but not enough to engage the audience. We get this short thing about dream catchers and spirits and catching with them, but not enough to keep the audience engaged and to learn more about Ruth's character and the mythology about what this film is trying to do. That's it. Another problem is when the weird shit does happen, it's your typical jump scares routine that we've seen all before. I mean, very, very cheap jump scares. There's nothing new here, and the filmmakers don't even try to create something different. You know, once you get, you probably can guess when the jump scares is going to happen because they're so predictable. Now I'll give the actor some credit in trying, as Rhoda Mitchell is okay as Gail, but the script doesn't allow Gail to be anything other than the new girlfriend cliche, who happens to be a child psychologist. Again, that comes from bad script writing and bad storytelling. Now, as I stated earlier before, you might be seeing the cute Finlay Woke hit song from the Banana Splits movie last year, and while he's still cute here, it's still the cliche of "I miss my mommy" child. At least he's not annoying. He's cute here too, but he's not creepy enough to play the type of child that I believe that the filmmakers were going for. He's just too cute. Now, as much as I like Lin Shaye, she's wasted here playing the weird neighbor Ruth. Yes, she has some secrets regarding the Dreamkatcher and does a typical exposition scene with Gail that lasts a bit too long, but nothing really happens to make the audience care about Ruth. It seemed like, I guess because since Lin Shaye was an executive producer and so is Rhoda Mitchell here, they get the EP credit on here. So I guess they decided they had to have her star in this film. But she's wasted here. She really does nothing other than to give warnings, give expositions, do something stupid that has nothing to do with the plot that comes out of nowhere, and that's it. The same goes for Henry Thomas, who does the typical "my son is okay, there's nothing wrong with him" cliche. Yes, this movie is filled with cliche moments and characters. It's like they just took copies of other horror movies or other supernatural horror movies and put them in here. And there's nothing new or interesting. There's nothing great or interesting in this movie at all. Now, if the filmmaker's purpose was to show how a child deals with death in one of their parents, they certainly did it in a very boring and convoluted way. The third act is nothing more than a poor attempt to copy moments from The Exorcist. I don't even want to talk about the end of the film because when the film ended, I'm like, what the fuck was that? That's it? That's how you're going to end the film? Oh, boy. So despite the nice ending, what we have here is a dull and boring horror movie filled with cliche characters and moments. There is simply no tension, no suspense, no atmosphere, just cheap jump scares and a very lackluster story. So, I am going to give Dreamkatcher with a K only 1 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. It's only going to get 1 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. Yes, very disappointed in this film. It's not one of the worst movies I've seen this year, but I got a feeling this could be on my top 5 worst horror movies of the year. Very boring, very dull, and no atmosphere. So that's my review of Dreamkatcher with a K. That's what I'm going to call this movie, Dreamkatcher with a K, not the other Dreamkatcher. Actually, if you believe it or not, I actually like the Stephen King Dreamkatcher film, and most people hated that film. But I like it. It's certainly way better than this one. But if you have seen Dreamkatcher, leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what you thought about the film. Did you enjoy it? Did you thought it was boring and dull like I did? Or did you find some redeeming quality of it? And that's my video for the day as well. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put up new videos like this one. And all my social media links will be in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.